should we buy, a multifamily, or is it one of those things where, I have to convince my wife to where, we're gonna buy a house that's maybe because she wants a single family, so she wants a single family and raise some kids, and but at the same time, if we spend too much there, we're not going to have as many assets to spend on an investment property. And she's on board with the investment property aspect and, trying to, make money in more lucrative ways and more passive ways. So it's like the give and take from your experience too. Like, I mean, is a two family living in a two family? I know you said you lived in a two family. Is that like, is it ideal? How was it? Can you kind of walk me through that? And, what would you advise?
Again, it's with anything, it largely depends on your preference.
Right.
One way to go could be to well, there's let's back up just a quick sec. There's a need for you to guys to buy your own living space, right?
Right.
Because currently you're living with family, is that right?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Which
We're
is
living for,
great.
yeah.
Been there, done that. And you have an awesome opportunity to save and to decide strategically what your next move is going to be. So I think you're in a great position. Some people feel a little embarrassed about that, but I say no, screw that. Like, you're saving tons, so that's great.
Yeah.
Uh, and and so you can be strategic with your next move, and definitely you've got cash flow and you have savings and all that sort of thing. One way to go, yeah, definitely, is to get a duplex, a side by side, or I don't know if in New Jersey if they allow basement apartments, but some kind of living space where you can rent out another part of the house, especially because you don't have kids yet. There's a lot of space that could be utilized. So in this day and age, for sure, an extra, I don't know how much rents could be, five, six, 700, $1,000. I know in Toronto, basement apartments are exceeding $1,000 per month,
Hmm.
and they're like studio. They're fully self-sustained units, like with a full bathroom and a kitchenette, and a wide open space. Over $1,000 a month for something that's like half or two-thirds underground. It's kind of crazy, but to the person who owns it, that's an extra $1,000, $1,200 per month that is fairly passive, right? And so that would what is that? It's
Subsidized.
about 14,400 per year net after taxes,
Yeah.
and depending on your tax bracket, that could be a gross income of like 19,000 plus. That's a part-time job,
Right.
right? Without
Right.
having to spend part-time job hours working at it.
Right.
So again, theoretically, that sounds like a great way to go, but then it comes down to, can you guys live like that with a tenant being underneath you or next door?
Right.
So that's another question too. And uh, my wife and I did that, and we actually were quite excited because we were in a very similar situation. We didn't have kids yet, and we were planning to. But then when we bought a house, we found ourselves in a position living with family, looking to buy a house. And I was like, well, we want to buy a house and we can afford this much, but we really don't need all this space. So while and even when we do have the first one or two kids, they're going to be really small. They're not going to take up a lot of space. And as long as we have like a 3 bedroom to ourselves, that's plenty for like our bedroom, a home office, and then a kid's room, a nursery of some sort. We'd have a whole basement. And that's exactly what we did. So we rented out our basement,
Right.
renovated the entranceway. That was our first foray into renovations, and managed that, and then managed a tenant. Sure, they were underneath our feet and we couldn't stomp around and make tons of noise all the time, but it was a small sacrifice to get our feet wet into the whole real estate.